Hello everyone, I am Dev from Inosphere and we are starting with a series where we help students in preparation for their interviews at various companies. Today we have Dhruv Sharma with us, who is an intern at BMC. Welcome Dhruv. Now before we dive into our interview segment, I would like to congratulate you on your internship and wish you all the best on behalf of our entire team. It would be great
Yeah,
if you
thank you,
introduce
Dev.
yourself. It would be great if you could introduce yourself more to our audience.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dhruv Sharma. Currently, I'm studying in third year in IT department from VIT, Pune. I am selected in BMC Software as an intern. Like it visited in July, like the very first company to visit us in the third year. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, now let's start with the first question, which is well, our first question will be quite easy. Our first question will be what excites you the most about the opportunity to intern at BMC Software, and how do you envision contributing to the team?
So to be very honest, it's not like a specific company will uh, excite you. Like when you talk about the placement drives, it's always about your target package, not about the target company. Because if you will target specific company, it will be quite difficult for you because there are many factors. Like you have to go through the shortlisting. There are different filters. After that, you have to give test. After that, interview. So your thinking not be like you'll target a specific company. Yeah, you should have a range of packages. Talking about BMC, I was excited because I'm a person, like it's my personal opinion, कि development will get replaced. Before, if you look 5 or 10 years back, we were using Mun. Right now, companies are working on Spring Boot. So I think like Spring Boot will also get replaced after 5 or 10 years, or it will be get replaced by AI like Copilot. So always wanted to work in a job role where I have to work on the cloud or DevOps. So when BMC came to our college, I researched on the job role. It was technical support, troubleshooting basically. And in troubleshooting, we use the niche technologies, evergreen technologies like Linux or DBMS or OS, computer networks, Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins. So that excites me, these are the evergreen technologies. So I was a person who was looking for a consistency, for a secured future. So that's why the BMC excites me the most. And of course, it was the first company, so I didn't have any other option.
Uh, okay, so let's move on to the next question. Can you walk us through the selection process for BMC Software? How many interview rounds were typically conducted, and what types of questions are commonly asked?
Okay. So first of all, you have to fill the form for every company. Then after that, there comes a shortlist. So basically, companies put different filters, different criterias, like CGPA criteria, your 10th percentage, 12th percentage. So according to that, you'll get shortlist for the test. Once you gave the test, after some days, they'll put a shortlist for the interviews. Talking about how many rounds in the interview, PMC took only one round. That will be technical plus HR. So you have to be prepared that the interview will go around 1 to 2 hours. Like to be very honest, मेरा interview 90 minutes तक चला है. So you have to be mentally prepared for that. So it also depends on the panel, to be very honest. So that was the selection process. Talking about the question asked, it was the basic technical questions. Job role is of troubleshooting, so they'll ask you more related to operating systems, computer networks, DBMS, because you are in third year. They are not expecting that much from you. So these are the three technologies. These three technologies will be their main focus. And apart from this, there are some questions which are asked in every interview. Whether it's your technical interview or anywhere. First one is your introduction. Okay. Right now in the start, I just gave a short introduction because it was a formal interview, so I knew that many questions were asked from you guys. So I just give a short introduction, 2 to 3 lines. But when you go for an interview, like where you have to be selected, you have to prepare your introduction very carefully. The things you should include are like what you are, who you are, from where you belong, what you are doing right now, what are your co-curricular, extracurricular. Like I was holding the position of publicity secretary in the Speakers Club and venue and execution secretary in CQ. So you have to add that. You have to, add what you have done in your college life. See, I was the publicity coordinator, and during my tenure, I mentioned in my introduction that during my tenure we successfully conducted 3 fests. Or you can add your technical skills, your projects, not in detail, just an overview of your project, the title of your project, and just one line. After that, you can include what you have achieved. I have given the SSB of Indian Army thrice, so I mentioned that. I mentioned my hobbies and all those things. So your introduction should be well prepared, well structured. After that, the 2 questions which are commonly asked in interviews are your strengths and your weaknesses. In strengths, you can be honest, right? You can say what are your actual strengths, but weakness you have to say like it's up to you. That's my thinking, that everyone have a lot of weaknesses, and there are some weaknesses which can reflect your strength also. Are you getting? Like when my interviewer asked like what are your weaknesses, my answer was overthinking. He said how? I said, sir, sometimes when I have to do a task, I prepare a plan, execution plan for it. And sometimes I got less time for the execution. So the positive was that I don't just do gada mazduri, I plan things carefully. So that was a positive from my weakness. So you have to prepare your weaknesses like that way. Yeah.
So I believe that was quite informative. The introduction, the strengths, the weaknesses. Now we'll move on to a related question. My question would be: how does BMC software assesses the candidates during the interview process? Are there any specific assessments, technical challenges, or case studies involved?
Okay. So they will primarily target the technical aspects. Like I said before, they will ask you questions about operating systems, DBMS, computer networks, and the core Java. They asked me about these technologies. So they started off with the DBMS. Then, I gave them the answer from which they thought that I have the hands-on experience for DBMS. Then they gave me some scenarios like of Google Forms, connecting Google Forms with the DBMS, some errors and all. After that, they went to the computer networks. Computer networks, it was quite easy, very basic, like HTTP, HTTPS, routing, types of routing, protocols used, VPNs, all that. And after that, the OS part. I guess they started with the types of OS and ended on the threshing part. And in between, they asked every single topic, I guess, about paging, virtual memory, segmentation, partitioning, all those things. So OS was their primary target. After that, they asked me some Linux commands, and there was a question in Linux command where I got stuck. That was the only question which I was not able to answer. It was like they asked me to how you can edit a file in Linux. So I said, sir, we can use Vim command. He said some other. I said, sir, we can use VI editor, and he wanted the third answer also. There is a nano command which just didn't strike me on that time. But yeah,
The right time.
I, yeah. So basically, they'll assess you on the technical challenges, and they'll put you in situation reactions also. Like my manager asked, like you are tackling with some customer, our product is having some bug, and you go to your senior and he said तुझे बताया तो था पहले. So what will you do? Like he's not talking properly. What will you do? So my answer was, it just clicked me on the spot. I was, to be very honest, trying to be honest in the interview. So I said, so in our job role, the customer is our primary target, because we are tackling with the customers, and without customers we can't do anything. A company can't survive without customers. So if my senior is staring at me, I listen to him, but I can't compromise on my customer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I believe our next question. Okay, please go on.
They'll put you in situation reactions, and then yeah, that's it. Technical and situation reaction test, and they'll say कि दिवाली पे तुम्हें बुलाया, you will come to work or not, like those questions.
Okay, so there are quite some case studies that go into very deep, right? Now, my next question would actually be regarding your technical subjects. How important is the knowledge of software development principles such as data structures, algorithms, OOPs, and OS for roles at BMC softwares?
See, if we are talking about BMC software specifically, they asked me only one coding question. That was two not from DSA. They asked me to write a code for multi-threading only. That is the core Java, not DSA. Talking about the subjects I mentioned many times: operating systems, Linux, computer networks, DBMS. These subjects were their main focus. They didn't ask me about DSA. But if you are preparing for the placement, then your primary target should always be, DSA, because most of the company will ask you DSA. So you should focus on that.
So, I wanted to ask about your preparation. How did you prepare for the technical aspects of the BMC software interview? Could you recommend any specific resources or tips for prospective candidates?
See, to be very honest, in the last sem of my second year, I started doing DSA, and if company is not asking DSA, it doesn't mean you'll not do the DSA or you'll skip the DSA. DSA is something where you keep on doing the DSA, your brain will expand. It will think differently. It will know how to tackle problems, technical problems, and everything is related in the technology. So how I prepared in the last sem of my second year, I started doing DSA. To be very honest, first three sems I did nothing. I just enjoyed the college life. For 6 or 7 months, I did the DSA part. And when I got selected, when I applied for the company, basically, it was on 19th of July. Yeah. So after that, I started focusing on core subjects. And after that, I did OS, GBMS, computer networks, and OOPS, object oriented programming. The resources I'll recommend to others will be like, if you are doing in C++. See, first of all, the basic idea you'll get from the college teachers, for sure. But after that, you have to prepare on your own. So the resources are, of course, teachers will teach you, you know, that what teachers will teach you will be aligned with your curriculum. But you also have to prepare for the interview point of view. So if you are doing it in doing DSA in C++, there is a series from Love Bubber. So that is a good resource according to me. And if you are doing in Java, you should stick to Kunal Kushwaha. For OOPS, you have Kunal Kushwaha and Apna College, Shraddha Didi. Both are good. If you want superficially, you have to cover the OOPS, you should go with the Shraddha Didi, or otherwise you can go with the Kunal Kushwaha. Talking about DBMS and operating system, you can refer Love Bubber. And talking about CN companies don't ask in that much deep. So you should go for there is a one shot of knowledge gate. So I personally done that. So yeah, these are the resources.
So I believe this will definitely help our viewers. Now, my next question would be non-technical. When answering the question why BMC software in an interview, what aspects should a candidate emphasize to align with the company's value and mission?
See, personally, when my interviewer asked me this question, he was like, "Was he didn't ask me this way why BMC? He asked me like, is there any specific reason for BMC, or it was just the first company to visit your campus, so that's why you applied." So of course, if a person is experienced, he is taking my interview. He know, of course, I'll apply in every company. So I can't say, sir, I was waiting for BMC to apply. That's a clear lie. So my answer was, so your answer should be little diplomatic. Like I said, sir, I am a person who don't know that much of a web development, but I'm good in DevOps. I have done my specialization in DevOps, and I have wanted to, you know, build my career in the DevOps domain. So when I saw that the job role is of technical support and I have to troubleshoot, and for that I have to use the concepts of DevOps. So I got excited because the very first company which is coming to our campus is aligning with my goals and skills. So that's why I applied for the BMC. So like, see, everyone has different reasons, but you can't, clearly lie. He knows that you'll apply in every company which is aligning to, your package target package. So you can't clearly lie, but yeah, you have to be little diplomatic while answering these kind of questions.
Because I believe that is also a diplomatic answer. So let's move on to our next question, which would be, if you could offer one piece of advice to someone aspiring to work at BMC Software, what would it be?
So first of all, prepare technically. Your all technical domains like DSA, like not specifically for BMC softwares. I've said that BMC what BMC wants from a candidate, but talking overall, you should focus on DSA and you should not follow what I have did. Because I did a blunder. I only focused on DSA for my whole one semester. That was a blunder, I guess. So what you should do is you should divide your time slots. So start with array. Once you are done with the array, what you should do is, after array, I guess the topic is metrics. So once you are done with the array, you start metrics. You study metrics for 1 hour, and you will do arrays question for 1 hour, lead code question. Like what people do is, what I have observed, they go on doing a lot of questions, 50 questions of array once they are done with the array. Technology is so vast, even though if see, I have studied OS, but there are chances like if you'll ask me some question, I am not able to answer that because technology is so vast. Even the interviewer will not able to answer some questions. So you should not try to be Picasso of technology. You should focus on what you need to crack the interview. तो पहले एरे करो, मैट्रिक्स के ऊपर जा रहे हो तो साथ साथ एरे के क्वेश्चन करो एंड पिक वन कोर सब्जेक्ट एंड डू इट अलोंग विद डीएसए. बिकॉज अगर तुम लास्ट में एक साथ कोर करोगे इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू. तो खिचड़ी बन जाएगी दिमाग में.
Nice. I like the advice, especially the last. Khichdi ban jayegi. People will love to means avoid your mistakes. And now we'll move on to the last question. Last but not the least, my question would be, reflecting on your preparation for the BMC software interview. Is there anything you would have done differently?
I guess the answer will be same. Like, you should don't do the Gada Mazduri part. You should not try to do all questions of a topic. You will learn gradually, The main part is to learn everything and then you will do questions of each topic, then you will get the knowledge of each topic gradually. ऐसा नहीं करना है कि एरे किया तो वेरी के सारे लीड कोड खत्म करेंगे. And please try to be focused on the approach. you know Many times what people do is, अगर क्वेश्चन नहीं बन रहा है, they do chat gpt, just they mug up the code and they thought that that's it. But you should focus on the approach. If you'll ask me, I have done only 80 to 100 questions on lead code, but I have done it systematically, to be very honest. People know sliding window का एक क्वेश्चन हो गया, people will be like हाँ हो गया. But it's not like that. You have to understand कि वो approach कहाँ पर लग सकती है. There is a question, I guess, asked in some company on campus itself, like square root function of Java, उसका कोड लिखना है. So उसमें स्लाइडिंग विंडो यूज होता है, हो सकता है. So you have to work that way. You should understand the approach and then you should tackle the problem. सिर्फ रटने से नहीं होगा. And the last resource I'll like to mention is Striver's series. Striver का DSA का एक sheet है A to Z. I guess उसमें around 300 plus questions हैं from lead code, from Geek for Geeks. You should refer that. Those are the important questions.
Okay, thank you, Dhruv, for your valuable time and also the resources that you shared. I believe this interview will greatly help our audience in their further preparation for BMC. Thank you.
Thank you.